The biggest problem with social media in my eyes is the boy who cried wolf phenomenon. And this problem has only become more prevalent to me as someone who lives in the city of Chicago. Because unless you've been living under a rock, the National Guard has just arrived in this great city. They're somewhere out in the suburbs training. Training for what? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not privy to the orders they're getting. But that's not the only aspect of the story. There's ICE here. There's an increased police presence. There are more sheriffs out. There are Homeland Security vehicles. There's a lot of personnel scanning the grounds and scouting out for particular individuals. Now, if you go on Threads and you type in Chicago, or you type in ICE, or you type in Chicago ICE raids, anything along the lines of Chicago and military personnel or police personnel, you're going to see thread after thread after thread of people saying that there was an ICE raid here on the South Shore, or there was a person shot out here, or there's a protest over here, or there are ICE personnel down on this street in the inner city, or X, Y, Z. You're going to see thread after thread after thread. Now, let's assume it's all true. Let's assume every last thread is telling us the exact truth. Crystal clear. No way you could fabricate it or alter it. It's easy to see. Then you and I would be able to get an accurate gauge of what is going on here in Chicago. We would be well informed. We would be able to make very smart decisions. If we wanted to avoid the events, we could avoid the events. If we wanted to participate in the events, we could participate in the events. If we wanted to do a mix of both, we could do a mix of both. But in any case, we'd have a clear and accurate picture of what was going on. However, you and I both know that not all of these threads are telling the truth. How many are truthful? I'm not sure. How many are lies? I'm not sure. And the reason why I say this is because I've been living in the city throughout this quote-unquote occupation. And I've watched the events unfold day by day. I scan the morning paper every time I go into the BP to get my energy drink in the morning around 9, 9:30, 10, whatever time it may be. Sometimes it's later, sometimes it's earlier. I scan it every day. I've been watching the events unfold. And I could tell you, as a full-time Uber driver, someone who takes people to the west side, someone who takes people to the south side, some people who drives down Lakeshore Drive, who's driving downtown, who goes to the north side. I'm all over the city, and I do this full-time. I have not seen one ICE officer. I have seen one protest, maybe. I haven't seen any violence. I haven't seen anything significant outside of what already happens. Cars getting set on fire, crashes on the side of the Dan Ryan, the JFK, stuff that happens every single day, seemingly. But nothing out of the ordinary, nothing involving immigration, nothing involving ICE agents, protests, etc. I haven't seen any of it. Now, that doesn't mean it's not happening. That just means I haven't seen it. And this is where the problem lies, is that I haven't seen it, and I've been all over the place. But on Threads, I hear report after report after report of stuff happening all over the place. This makes me very conflicted. And this is what makes most people conflicted, if not everyone conflicted. Because you want to trust your eyes, but you know that there are other eyes telling you that things are happening. But your eyes aren't seeing it. So what do you believe? How much of it do you believe? What of it do you believe? And this is where everybody gets their own narrative. This is where everybody comes up with their own idea of what's happening. They develop a complex emotional state based on this narrative, based on what they've told themselves is going on. They project into the future what's going to happen. They make videos of it on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and then they post threads about it, about how American fascism is rising, how the empire is falling, or how this is the golden age, how we're winning, 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 baby, how we're the best that we've ever been. They post these narratives and they vent on Threads, and that drives the discourse, that drives the talking points, that drives the very well-defined areas, fields of discussion that you and I could partake in. And if you're somebody who wants to find genuine truth, it's basically impossible to do online. And it's also impossible to do in your day-to-day life, because the truth is that if you were to interview all the people in Chicago, they would give you very different answers as to what's happening, why, and if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And that means the truth is very different for varied people, which makes this situation incredibly fascinating. Now, I'm not here to give an opinion. I'm not here to diagnose it. I'm not here to say what's going on and what the truth is. I'm just pointing out that social media has a huge flaw. And that flaw is that there is this disconnect between your eyes and between what the feed is telling you. There's this boy who cried wolf phenomenon, because with so many people talking, especially when you consider that most people in your day-to-day life are liars. Most people in your day-to-day life are exaggerators. Most people in your day-to-day life do not tell whole truths. And then you go on social media and you hear these claims for both sides, for any idea, for any event, for any topic. You become so confused because you want to believe, but you also know that it might be bullshit. And when you sniff at it, it's very hard to tell because they all smell the same. It's one scent. It's one Chanel No. 5. There's no difference. And so you cannot make accurate decisions. And this is why so many people are confused, and why at the end of the day, most people just check out, because you can't make an accurate decision. You can't tell whether to trust your eyes or the eyes of the feed, or to trust neither. You don't know. So you just check out and you forget. And this is why people listen to pop music. This is why people listen to rap. This is why people go out and drink and do drugs and club. And this is why people focus on hustle and grind culture, making a bunch of money, because they don't want to deal with the politics. They don't want to deal with the social issues. They don't want to deal with the cultural issues. All these things that are going on right in front of their faces, because they can't make accurate decisions. Now, I only make this video because I just wanted to lay out this phenomenon. That's it. Because I had to express the mechanics of what goes on Threads, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. for whoever listens to this, whoever watches this, to watch and hear. So that perhaps you, as well as I, remember that in order to make accurate decisions, we have to weigh a lot of things. And in order to do that well, we have to control our emotions. We have to bite our tongues. We have to be diligent. We have to have open eyes. We have to have open hearts and souls. And we have to be ready and vigilant for what could come and what could happen. Moreover, we have to discipline ourselves to make sure that we're in the proper states so that we can be ready for whatever is coming and be prepared for whatever is happening. Things that we can't see yet, because, like in the case of myself, even though I drive the entire city, I still haven't seen it. Perhaps I'm lucky. Perhaps I'm divinely blessed. Don't know. Perhaps I'm going to see one tomorrow. That would be some fate, wouldn't it? But in any case, let me know what you think about this. Let me know if I've gotten an accurate gauge on what is going on social media. If you have comments on the particular situation here in Chicago, whether you're an outsider or an insider, let me know. Though I do see a lot of people from outside the city who have never been here give opinions, and they are fairly detached, though they're not devoid of value. But in any case, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Much love, peace. This is the New Da Vinci.